have our silver needle noodles. The main flavors come from cooking it in the wok on high heat, and you get the wok hei. We don't want to add too much salt because we're going to add Chinese wine and soy sauce. So now you've got like a nice color on the vegetables and the noodles. And just to finish, a little bit of sweet soy to add a bit of sweetness and balance it out.
跟住 Google Map 嘅指示嚟到 Kensington Market 揾呢間餐廳，但係左揾右揾，連招牌都唔見。咦，唔係啊，你睇真啲，呢度咪寫住 Sunnys Chinese 啦。
This space was an iconic local bar for 10 years. Everyone in the restaurant industry knew about it. Just kind of always thought that the discovery component was fun. And in terms of the actual design aesthetic of the space, it's never this bright in here when you eat in here. So the colors in this space are intentionally hyperbolized, knowing that the lights are a lot lower so that everything still comes through. But we really wanted this space to feel both congruent with Kensington Market, which is a community that's existed for 100 plus years, and feel kind of like a Hong Kong diner.
Sunnys 起初係一間 pop-up 外賣鋪，當時嘅位置都好神秘，係喺姊妹餐廳 Mimi Chinese 嘅後門。想嗌外賣就要喺停車場排隊。
We were doing it out of the kitchen of Mimi. People would have to line up in the parking lot at our back door.
It wasn't labeled, we just put our little sticker on there with our menu, and people would go, I guess this is the door, this is the right one, and then...
We were supposed to open Mimi, our other restaurant, in April 2020. For many reasons, that didn't happen, but we had the space. So we decided to do a pop-up. At first it was for friends and family.
咁講嘅話 ，Sunnys 嘅出現都可以話係一場意外，但係呢個決定就為兩間餐廳都帶嚟咗意想不到嘅驚喜。
We used Sunnys as a way to try out new dishes for the Mimi menu, and then we saw, okay, well this works, this doesn't work, or you know this makes more sense for Mimi, and maybe we save this dish for when we open Sunnys.
We had a mailing list. The local publication wrote about us, and I woke up and our mailing list had 300 people on it, and I was shocked. Couldn't believe it. And then that 300 people became like 12,000 people over the next few months. So without COVID, Sunnys certainly would not have existed in the same way and at the same pace. So thankful that it did, because once Sunnys kind of took off, we realized that we were trying to open two concepts in one with Mimi, and there are a lot of things that probably wouldn't have worked well there that work really well here, and vice versa.
唔少人見到餐廳嘅佈局，加上了解到 David 同 Braden 喺加拿大土生土長嘅背景，都會覺得呢個係一間 fusion 餐廳。不過其實 Sunnys 同 Mimi 都係不折不扣嘅中餐廳。
Definitely distinctly Chinese at both of our restaurants. We have two very specific kind of angles to our cooking philosophy though at both restaurants. One is either we take a concept dish like char siu or hidden chicken, and we try to make the best version of it that we possibly can, but pretty traditional. The other lane is to cook within the spirit of a specific region or province in China, and maybe put a dish together that you wouldn't see in Chengdu or in Guangzhou. But if you close your eyes and eat it, the flavors are perfectly reminiscent of what it is. Because as far as the fusion component goes, the total package of our experience is very different. You know, we have a wine menu, a sommelier, we have a bar manager who puts together a cocktail menu. Our service is very different than maybe what you would be used to. The style of room is very different. That being said, places like this I think do exist in like Shanghai and Guangzhou and Hong Kong. Like
睇到呢度，大家可能都有個疑問 ，David 橫睇掂睇都係個外國人，點解佢會對中餐情有獨鍾呢？
I think it's the most historically deep and diverse food culture there is, and there's endless inspiration. There's so much technique. I think a thing that people don't understand, the amount of work that goes into the food, it's insane. As a cook and as a person who loves to eat, it's just never-ending and super interesting, and I just love it. And I can't imagine not being able to eat it all the time. Every Sunday, we'd go for dim sum. My dad and I would eat chicken feet and tendon and tripe from like 4 years old. I love it. It's one of my favorite things.
I don't trust.
I swear.
I think that's actually on that same note. It's like a big point we try to bring to our restaurants is we want to showcase Chinese food and make people who maybe they're not familiar with Chinese food enjoy Chinese food the same way that we do. And like chicken feet's a good example. Like our husband and wife beef, there's tripe, there's tendon in it, and most people, you know, if they read that on a menu, they wouldn't order it.
冇錯，相信冇試過夫妻肺片嘅人見到呢個名都會一頭問號。佢哋會點樣向外國人介紹呢道菜呢？
What I always say is that it's my litmus test for a good Sichuan restaurant. When I go to a Sichuan spot, I'll always order, and if it's good, I know that everything else to follow will be good as well, because it's so much work. Like the way that we do it here, we braise the 3 different cuts. Well, we boil the 3 different cuts in our master stock. We chill it in the stock, we slice it, then we toss it with our house Sichuan oil and some of the master stock and then a few other ingredients. And each component cooks at a different time. So it's so much work to get every cut right. I'd say that's our signature dish at this restaurant. We found people respond extremely well to it. The amount of people who say, I've never eaten tripe or tendon, or I don't want to, and then they eat it and they love it. Like, we've done our job.
記得第一次嚟 Sunnys， 菜單上甜品部分特登標明 not too sweet， 令我印象深刻。睇嚟東方人對於甜品嘅最高讚賞已經傳遍世界。
I'll use my mom and my grandparents as an example. Like when we eat dessert, the first thing they say is like, "Oh, this is really good. It's not too sweet." You even just talk to like Chinese friends and like if something's too sweet, it's not enjoyable.
甜品之一係黑芝麻 French Toast， 係其中一款最受歡迎嘅餐點。由 Sunnys 開業嘅第一日就已經存在。Sunnys 同 Mimi 都有上榜米芝蓮推介名單。雖然都係中菜，兩者風格就好唔同。下一集同大家一齊去 Mimi 試下有咩好食。